What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. I got two picks that I've already put down, which I'm going to take you through today. Now, if that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Before we jump into the picks, you know what we got to do? We got to recap the day that was, and man, we might as well talk about it. Malik Beasley, my boy Measley. I honestly don't think you could play any worse than he did today. And even though I don't think it was such a bad bet, I feel like I need to say sorry here. But I don't know. I think you're just gonna laugh, really. Like, it was so bad. I shared four picks in the last video. We went 2-2 on those. Beasley, the absolute highlight, though, got to tell you. Overall VIP, though, minus 3.7 units. It was a pretty average day. I ended up putting too many bets on bloody Victor Wembanyama, and he sucked. I had a great chance to make some profit there with some value plays, but I wasn't happy with what I did with Anthony Simons. But look, new opportunity. Wasn't the worst day, but definitely could have been better. I went 4-4 in straight bets. Let's talk about the losers. My man Measley. Let me know in the comments section if you were foolish enough to tail the Measley play. But what can we say? He couldn't play any worse if he tried. I honestly think he's going to kill it the next game. His next game, Malik Beasley's going to go crazy. I'm going to bet on it. I'm not going to share it on YouTube. And then eventually when I do the recap, I'll say I bet on Malik Beasley and he cashed. The whole bounce back thing. So I think, look, the new system play for Malik Beasley, wait for him to suck and then just take the game after, because he's going to see minutes, he's going to see volume. I think that's going to be the strategy moving forward with him. Cade Cunningham also took him over 9.5 assists, got hooked here, finished on 9. I hate to say it, but Malik Beasley's probably the reason to blame here. He missed so many shots. If he made just one, Cade Cunningham probably gets over that 10 assist mark. I honestly didn't think that was such a bad bet for Cade. Took Wemby over 27.5 points. This bet was looking great till the fourth. 0 from 4, 1 from 2 on the free throw line. He played the minutes. He saw the volume. He had the best matchup. I thought it was a good read. Wemby just let me down today, sorry to say. And then Kevin Durant, over 29.5 points and assists. He didn't play the minutes. He didn't get the shot volume. I'm going to say that's a bad read because I expected him to play minutes. I expected him to take a lot of shots. That game was quite weird. It was an unders type of game for most people except for Bradley Beal. What's funny is I expected Bradley Beal to have a big game, but my dumbass went with Kevin Durant anyway. What can you do? He had a couple of winners, though. Kawhi Leonard, under 20.5 PRA. That was sweat-free. All his volume happens in the first quarter. Like I told you, he's only scoring from spot-up shooters. If he didn't make those three-pointers, he was struggling. All his other shots, mid-ranges, layups, yeah, when the pressure is on, he's not delivering right now. So I thought that was a great read. It went exactly the way I expected it to go. Anthony Simons over 21.5 points. He absolutely killed them today. What he finished on 33. Now, I ran as a value play Simons to score 25 points and to get 3 rebounds. It was foolish. I should have just laddered him 25 to 30. I don't know what the 3 rebound things I was doing there. So I was pretty upset about that. Josh Giddey hit him at over 6.5 boards. Kobe White over 22.5 points and assists. He had that great dunk on Wemby late in that game. So Kobe, I think that was a great read there. And we hit one value play on Kawhi Leonard. Let me show you that. Took Kawhi Leonard under his assists and rebounds, under his steals and blocks, under 20.5 points. Turned $50 into 180. It wasn't the best day, but it wasn't a complete failure either. So if you're interested in trying out VIP, though, so I get a lot of questions. What's the difference between VIP? What's so special about it? Well, all VIP really is access to every single pick and bet that I make, whether it's straight bets, parlays, long shots, bitch ass parlays, whatever it is. VIP, you'll get every single bet that I place on every single sport there is known to man. On YouTube, I kind of like get my first couple of picks down. Once my picks are down and I've got enough to make a YouTube video out of it, I go straight onto YouTube, get the picks out. Once the YouTube video is done, I go back, do more research, get more bets, more value plays, and I share everything else with VIP. So that's the main difference there. I'm not withholding any of the best ones for VIP or whatever it is. It's pretty much the first ones that I find, I share on YouTube. But if you do want to try out VIP, get that entry into Dabble and ParlayPlay. There's a giveaway. Sign up to either app using my codes or the links below. Deposit $10. Send me an email with a screenshot of your account. If you sign up to both, you get 2 entries into the draw. Once we hit 50 referrals, I'll give away $100 into 3 people. I think we're close to about 30. So there's probably 20 spots left, and then this giveaway is going to take place. That's enough about the recap. Let's get into these 2 picks, and then we're going to do a bit of a deep dive because I haven't looked into much yet. We'll do that deep dive together. We'll see what else that we can find. Let's go. So we're jumping into props madness. You know it, I know it. It's the best tool you're going to find for NBA player prop betting. I encourage you guys to check it out. 7-day free trial in the description below, and you'll get 25% off. You use the code DAFT when you sign up. So the first pick that I managed to spot on the day, I noticed this straight away and I jumped all over it. We're going with Mark Williams today and looking to take his over in points. So I got this out to VIP. I managed to catch him at 10.5. This has already started to move. So we're going to talk about 11. There's a 10.5 on Caesars and Flift, but by the time you're watching this, it's probably going to be 11.5 anyway. So I managed to catch this nice and early at some pretty good odds. So great closing line value there, but CLV doesn't matter unless the bet hits, right? But let's talk about why I took the 10.5 for Mark Williams and like how high I would play this line up to. Well, he's only played 12 games this season. The main thing that I wanted to see is looking at his minutes and opportunities. Over his last 3 games, he's played 28, 31, and 28 minutes. So there's no minutes restriction anymore for Mark Williams, which is great. Me, I like to see a big sample size of data. So I was looking at games where he played at least 19 minutes. And in those games, he's over 10.5 in 7 out of 7 games, averaging 15 points per game. Now, look at this matchup versus the Phoenix Suns, and he's got a pretty decent matchup to score some points here. Looking at how he scores as a pick and roll man, getting to the free throw line, putting things back, even a bit of stuff in transition. For the most part, the Phoenix Suns below average when it comes to defending play types for Mark Williams and how he likes to score points. In terms of where he likes to score, 97% of his points are in the paint, 80% of those in the restricted area. And the Phoenix Suns, when we're looking at points in the paint, 13th most points in the paint. So they're below average in limiting points down low. Centers have had some success against them. 10 out of the last 15 have managed to go over their points line. A couple of bangers down there. A Walker Kessler, a Goga Batase, Donovan Clingan, Batase again, Rudy Gobert, Sabonis, Gafford. All these guys have covered their line and they pretty much score in and around the paint. So we're looking for Mark Williams to do the same. We've got Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball back in the lineup. And Mark Williams, checking to see what he's done with them in the lineup. 2 games with both of them. 16 points against the Wizards, 11 points against the Cavs in a very difficult matchup. He's got a greater matchup today. I think LaMelo Ball can find him, get some dunks down low. Mark Williams, I do like his points. Now, in terms of where I would play this up to, let me take a look here. I would imagine for the most part, this will probably move to 12.5. I got this at 10.5. There is 11.5 available. So if you can get 11.5, take it without hesitation. At 12.5, 12.5, would I still take this? And yeah, I would. I think 12.5 is the highest I would go. Another option that you could take for Mark Williams here, you might want to parlay 10 points and 7 rebounds or something like that, because I think even the 12.5 is probably it's as high as I'd go, but you'd have to get it for plus money. 11.5, I would play it. 12 points is a nice square number. He doesn't finish on odd numbers very often. But looking at his boards, his line for rebounds is 8.5. When he plays at least 19 minutes, he's quite consistent there as well. The Phoenix Suns, pretty mid-tier when it comes to rebounds allowed. That's why I'm saying if you do a Mark Williams bitch-ass parlay, 10 points and 7 rebounds, that could also be another nice look. But for Mark Williams, my favorite play is the points. You'll probably find people looking at his points plus rebounds here. You can get a 19.5 still. This might be a better one because this is probably going to move a lot slower. Points plus rebounds. You could take a look there. He's got a pretty good hit rate around that. And like I said, he's probably going to score 12, 13 points in this game. And I think he gets 7, 8, or 9 rebounds. So I think the points and rebounds probably a good pivot. If this points line has moved to 12.5 everywhere, then the points plus rebounds is one to consider if it stays at about 20.5. So Mark Williams, that's the first bet that I was managed to locate and put down straight away. The other one was in the Boston Celtics game versus the Denver Nuggets. And we're looking at Kristaps Porzingis here. And for Kristaps Porzingis, taking his rebound prop today, and taking him over 6.5 rebounds. And part of the reason why I took it at 6.5 rebounds is I managed to get these at amazing odds. Managed to get Kristaps at plus money, plus 110 when I sent it out to VIP. So for Kristaps at those odds, I had to jump all over it. Now, if this line moves to 7.5, I probably wouldn't take it. Probably a little bit hesitant around it. And I'll explain to you why in a moment. Looking at his minutes, I like to get the range of minutes I think they're going to play first. So we're looking at reasonable pieces of data here. Now, there are some games where he plays about 36, 33, but Kristaps Porzingis has been back for 2 games since his most recent injury. In those games, 28 minutes against the Rockets. That was a blowout. And then against OKC, which was tight enough, he only saw 29 minutes in that game. So I'm thinking there might be a 30-minute ceiling on his game time, and I like to be conservative with it. So looking at games between 31 and 25 minutes, I think that gives us a nice range for Kristaps Porzingis. He's actually over this rebound line in 5 out of 6 games, averaging 7.7 boards this season. He's had some soft matchups, not going to lie. The Chicago Bulls, pretty soft. Detroit's a difficult matchup, so he's done well there. 2 games against the Bulls, the Rockets, and OKC. That's a pretty soft matchup too. Now, he's up against the Denver Nuggets, and I do think this is a really good matchup. The Denver Nuggets play at a top 5 pace. So a lot of pace means a lot of rebounds, a lot of stats to go around. When I dove a little bit further, the Denver Nuggets, they allow the 13th fewest rebounds overall, right? But they allow the 5th most rebounds to centers. So a lot of centers have been eating the boards up against the Denver Nuggets. It wasn't just Wemby. A lot of the other bigs throughout the season have been doing the same, getting a lot of boards. I also looked into Kristaps Porzingis and his games against Denver last season. So 2 games against Denver last season, he had 8 and 12 rebounds, averaging 10 rebounds per game. Seems like a very straightforward bet, right? But looking at those games, he did average 35 minutes per game. And like I said, I'm capping him at about 30 minutes in this one. So he's probably not going to see the same level of opportunities. So then I've done some hood math. So he pretty much averaged 10 rebounds against them, 35 minutes per game. I broke it down and he was recording 0.28 rebounds per minute in these matchups against Denver last season. Given the fact I think he plays about 29 minutes in this game, the 29 times 0.28, it works out to be about 8 rebounds. So that's what I'm saying. If the line moves to 7.5, the line's probably exactly where it needs to be. And then you factor in what the odds are going to be, then you have no edge, in my opinion. But at 6.5, and I think he's going to finish on 8 boards, I think we've got a nice edge here. He's got historical data, tells us he can do it. We've got minutes played this season, tells us he can do it. We've got the matchup against Denver, who allow a lot of rebounds to centers. That all tells us that he can do it as well. So we can call it the holy trinity of sports betting. Those are my reasons there for Kristaps Porzingis. I like him over 6.5 boards. Make sure you line shop because the odds for this particular play, they're spread few and far between. A lot of people finding it difficult to price. If you think about Pinnacle, who's a very sharp book, they've got this at minus 130, which means they love the over. There's a lot of books who are offering a better price in Pinnacle at this moment, so be sure to line shop around. And if you have Props Madness, it's all done for you and it's nice and easy. So Kristaps Porzingis, over 6.5 rebounds. Let's go. Pumping the brakes real quick to say thank you for tuning in and watching the video. I ask that you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Drop me a comment down low for that algorithm. You can say anything, help get this video out to more people. Tell me what you think of the bets. Tell me what you think of my new fit. This is a brand from Australia called Deuces. This hat says everyone loves an underdog. It's pretty cool. Came with a complimentary wristband. Let me know what your thoughts are. You can say anything, help get this video out to more people. Now, it is late. I am still unwell. And I probably won't get better until I get some rest. But I'm grinding right now. Trying to do all that I can every single night to be consistent, to give you as much value as possible. Now, we're talking about value here. And I know you guys love the deep dive. So I'll take you through each game. We'll see what we can find. There's a lot of game time decisions on this set right now. So probably not going to find too much you can lock in straight away. But maybe I can drop some value for you. We'll see how we go. But before we do that, be sure to do that. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And then we'll get straight into the deep dive. I'll give you a moment to do it. Go for it. Do it now. Thank you. Let's go. All right. We are deep diving. Let's see what we can find. Phoenix versus the Hornets. Now, LaMelo Ball points could be a popular play here because if you like hit rate, then his hit rate's fantastic. He's averaging almost 30 points a game. Hit this line of 25.5 in 70% of the games. There's 24.5s available. The reason why I don't like LaMelo Ball in this particular matchup, even though he does have a good matchup, it's pretty much him, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges. Should see a ton of the points. With Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball, he's only averaging 25 points per game. He's hit this line in 5 out of 10. And if we think about the matchup is a good matchup, but he's had a good matchup with Miller and Bridges in the lineup before. We're talking about this game against Detroit. He did finish on 25 points. Exactly, meaning you probably get hooked on this one. Has killed it early in the season against the Rockets and the Celtics. The difference there is the Rockets and the Celtics very good at limiting points to spot-up shooters. Meaning LaMelo Ball got no one to pass to. And funnily enough, Phoenix Suns very much the same. Don't allow many points to spot up shooters. So now that I think about this, I probably lean to the over here. Similar types of players have had a lot of success against Phoenix. Tyrese Maxey just killed them more recently. I don't hate this bet here for LaMelo Ball. I lean to the over, but I wish there was a better hit rate with Brandon Miller and Bridges. What I tend to do is if I find something good and I think there's a risk, we can look at the matchup for them. So Brandon Miller, what type of matchup has he got? He's got a good matchup too. Although with LaMelo Ball, he's probably more of a spot-up shooter, so it's probably somewhat difficult for him. But if he gets more play on the ball, then it could be advantageous for him. Miles Bridges has a difficult matchup. He's scoring predominantly from the spot up and in transition. Miles Bridges at 17.5. I don't necessarily like that for him. What that means is LaMelo Ball to go over his points prop probably isn't such a bad bet. Look to see if you can find a 24.5. I can definitely get one. But I also know that if I share this, it's probably going to move. And then if this moves, I probably won't love it as much. But LaMelo Ball, yeah, I definitely lean to his over. If you think about bitch-ass parlays, him to get 20 points, that could definitely be something you consider. We then have Kevin Durant. Let's take a look. These are his games with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. 24.5 is his line. Available everywhere. He's hit this in 10 out of 14 games with Beal and Booker. Just scored 23 points against the 76ers. Efficient as hell, but he only took 14 shots. So I have no idea what happened and why he was so limited. Did they play him a certain way defensively to force him to pass? I don't exactly know, which is why I'm not betting on Kevin Durant today, because I don't know what happened. I don't know why the volume's low. I don't know how this new rotation looks. So for now, I'm just going to hold off. But if we're just looking at data and nothing else, then yeah, it looks like a great bet. The hit rate's fantastic when Kevin Durant plays with Booker and Beal. Now, part of the reason he only played 33 minutes today could be because they're on the front leg of a back-to-back. They could be saving Kevin Durant for this particular game, run him some extra minutes. It could be the case. So they did play Beal 30 minutes, Devin Booker 38 minutes, Kevin Durant saw 34. We might see a flip to that. We might see Kevin Durant log a little bit more time, Devin Booker play a little bit less to hopefully manage their workload. It'll be interesting. But, you know, Booker played 38 minutes and he sucked today. He was 3 from 16. I don't know why they kept him out there, but who knows? That could be the case. Kevin Durant, I do lean to his over. The matchups don't really matter too much for someone like Kevin Durant. He's a bucket getter. He can definitely get it done. Bradley Beal's an interesting one. 25 points in his first game off the bench here for Phoenix. Does he do it against Charlotte? Perhaps. He does have a similar type of matchups in terms of difficulty that he saw today. But again, I didn't watch this game. It looks like he was extremely efficient. Bradley Beal, not known for his efficiency in this Phoenix team, tends to be high volume. Actually, his good games, he's very efficient. What am I talking about? These are his games with Devin Booker in the lineup. These are his games with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. So he's over this line in 10 out of 14 games, averaging 15 points. The question is, does he play 30 minutes again? So he played 30 minutes in that most recent game against Philly, even though he came off the bench. When he was a starter, he played about 30 minutes as well. So I'd probably have to go into popcorn machine to see what the type of rotations they ran today to see what's going on. But I think it's very early to be betting on Bradley Beal based off one game off the bench. I don't know if he can produce like that all the time. So me being conservative here, I'm probably not going to take any bets on that. But Kevin Durant, I could see him playing more minutes. It does make sense, but I need to verify that. Rockets versus the Wizards. Now this game, Jordan Poole, Carrington, Koulibaly, all game time decisions for Washington. For Houston, Jalen Green's a game time decision, and so is Tari Eason. So it's pretty difficult to find an angle here. I think the spread on this one is huge, like 11.5 points. Yeah, it's 11.5 point spread. If Jordan Poole does play, part of me wants to take his over in points. Not only has he been killing it, but he's got a decent matchup to score some points here. The Houston Rockets are going to happily play one-on-one with him. They're not going to let him get some passes off. They're a good defensive team, but they do allow a lot of points to the pick-and-roll ball handler, and Jordan Poole happens to score a lot of his points there. So Jordan Poole, over 20.5, depending if he plays. I haven't bet on Jordan Poole for ages because he's been a game-time decision for quite some time. He keeps playing, then he keeps going over. I think this is another good spot for Jordan Poole if he does happen to suit up. And for Houston, I couldn't tell you what's going to happen with Houston. I did look at Amon Thompson. Amon Thompson played great that last game against the Lakers, saw 41 minutes with no Jabari Smith. But again, we've got one game of sample size since Jabari Smith kind of left. Not left, but he got injured. I don't want to make my decisions on Amon Thompson after one game. He could have got extra minutes because of how well he was playing. Up against Washington, could be a blowout here. There's just too many things that could happen, which could result in this bet losing. One that I was interested in looking at again was as Cam Whitmore. So I did bet on Cam Whitmore to cover his PRA against the Lakers. He only finished on 12 in that game, but he only saw 16 minutes. I thought he'd play 25 minutes. And that's what he normally plays if Jabari Smith isn't there. But I think Amon Thompson playing so well, the game being so close, the bench didn't get much of a run. Could the bench get more of a run here against Washington, where there's a chance there's a blowout? That's one other thing that I was thinking about. But then do we take the risk on that? Again, do I want to risk getting burnt by Cam Whitmore 2 times in a row? I'm still thinking about it. I might play that, but that's just a different angle I was thinking. If it's something that you agree with, go ahead and take a look. We then have the Lakers versus the Mavericks. We've got another game with no Luka, no Kyrie. Daniel Gafford's a game time decision, but extremely unlikely. For the Lakers, LeBron, AD, Cam Reddish, Gabe Vincent, all game time decisions as well. But it looks like LeBron and AD are going to play in this one. So no Luka, no Kyrie. A lot of people looking at PJ Washington, of course. Great on the boards again. His rebounds could be another look. I'd be interested to know how he's played against the Lakers, though. Let's look at last season, see if there's anything here. He did play the Lakers, but that's when he was with Charlotte, so not since he joined Dallas. So it's a little bit difficult on who he's going to defend. PJ Washington, does he most likely defend LeBron James here? If he does, do we still like his rebounds? That I'm not sure of. Nothing in this Dallas team gives me any confidence to really bet right now. One with a great hit rate is Quentin Grimes. Looking at his rebounds and assists, line's at 6.5, but it's heavily juiced. But his hit rate this season has been fantastic. And his hit rate without Luka and Kyrie, look at that. He's averaging 9.5 rebounds and assists. Line's currently at 6.5. I'd like it to move to 7.5, then I might bet on it because you can get 7.5 at plus money. 7.5 is probably the right line, but he's got a pretty good matchup as well. The Lakers give up a lot of assists, give up a lot of rebounds. They play a little bit slow, but they're pretty weak. So Quentin Grimes, rebounds and assists, that could be of interest, providing you get the right odds and the right line for that. Looking at LeBron and AD, nothing really excited me here. I haven't touched AD in quite some time. Inconsistent as hell. Yeah, you got to be brave to bet on him, and I wouldn't know what he's going to do here against Dallas. His matchup is somewhat difficult, but sorry, I had to pause the recording, tackle something real quick, but where was I? AD, yeah, no Gafford, only up against Lively, and yeah, I can see him having a good game, but yeah, he's a little bit unpredictable for me right now. His boards, rebound line's at 13.5. A lot of bigs have been feasting on the boards against Dallas, though, so that could be a good look. No Luka, no Kyrie. No one's really putting pressure on the rim. So Anthony Davis should have a strong rebounding game, which I think the line's just about right at 13.5. LeBron I got no idea on. Austin Reeves. Now, I did consider his points or his assists here. Scoring-wise for points, he's got an okay matchup, score some buckets. Assists, we had that one outlier game against Atlanta where he didn't get the dimes because LeBron was heavy chasing some points in that one. Then he versus Houston, which was a really tough matchup to get assists. He finished with 10, 15 potentials. So point guard Reeves is back. So I do like his assists, but his line's at 8.5. It is a plus money play, something I probably could get with. Maybe you can build a same game parlay around Austin Reeves to get 15 points and 7 assists perhaps. I'm not too sure. I'll see. I might bet something like that depending on the type of odds that I get. But if I had to bet a single bet on Austin Reeves, it probably is assists. Good value to get it at plus money. Timberwolves versus the Pelicans. Now, this is another one with a lot of game time decisions. DeJounte Murray's a game time decision. Zion Williamson's a game time decision. So Zion coming back kind of changes everything. So I can't really touch anything for the Pelicans right now until that lineup's confirmed. Zion probably has a minutes restriction, but given they just got DeJounte Murray this year, I don't know how it's going to impact everybody. But looking at the Minnesota team, Anthony Edwards just started popping off. 53 against Detroit, 37 against the Clippers. That Clippers matchup was tough and didn't matter. Anthony Edwards made it rain on him. I'm thinking, do we just back Anthony Edwards to take a lot of threes? His line's at 3.5, 10 and 6 3-pointers. He's attempting 15 and 13. I was thinking, what if I just looked at games where he attempts at least 10 3-pointers? What happens? And he absolutely clobbers this line, right? He's hit this in 14 out of 15 games, averaging 5.7 3-pointers made. So Anthony Edwards to go over his 3-pointers made prop against the Pelicans, that could be a good look. Pelicans, 11th most 3-point attempts allowed. They still got a poor defensive rating. They do allow a lot of points in the paint, but Anthony Edwards just letting it fly from deep right now. Do we just ride the hot hand here? I know a lot of people don't like betting on Ant, and I get it, but can Anthony Edwards get back to attempting a ton of threes? If I look at the games where he's attempted 10 plus threes, you see a lot of these in pretty consecutive games. He goes through these phases where he's just letting it fly on a consistent basis. Then he cools off. Then he starts hitting it again. Like here, he had like maybe 4 or 5 games consecutively. Then he clearly didn't do it for a couple of games. Then he got back into his groove. And then between December and now, he kind of slowed down. And if you just look at his overall stuff from December to now, a lot of poor shooting games around here. Didn't see the volume. And then coming into the new year, he took 7 against OKC, 9 against Boston, 15 against Detroit, 13 against the Clippers, How much does he take here against the Pels? I'd like to see him take at least 10. So if he takes 10, you can get 4. If he takes 12, averaging 4.3. Yeah, like Anthony Edwards to go over his 3-pointers made prop, you can probably get this at -110. Yeah, you can. So Anthony Edwards to go over his threes, that might be something that I play. I honestly don't mind that. Riding the hot hand here of Anthony Edwards. And the matchup's not too bad for it. I guess that makes sense. And we've got Atlanta versus Utah. That should be a good game. Trae Young's a game-time decision, but he looks likely to play. Jalen Johnson's still out. For Utah, Lauri Markkanen is a game-time decision here as well. So we could be able to find some value right here. Probably not on Utah because I don't know if Lauri's going to play or not. Colin Sexton's line at 21.5 because they're missing Collins and Keontae George and Clarkson. So Colin Sexton, yeah, 21.5 seems a little bit steep, but he is going to be heavily involved. That's the thing. So you might want to look at a PRA. Nah, I think the line for Colin Sexton is about right. I don't know if there's a massive edge here. He does have a good matchup though. The Atlanta Hawks allow the second most points in the pick and roll. So Colin Sexton can definitely eat there. Can shoot above the break. The Hawks, the worst team in the league at defending that. But again, I think the line is right despite the good matchup. Walker Kessler. Could we see a big Walker Kessler game? Now, his matchup isn't the best. It's not too bad to score some points, actually. Rebounds, his line's at 12.5. Atlanta. Some bigs have eaten them alive down low and some have struggled. So I can't really guarantee anything there for Walker Kessler. Not loving the boards. What about Trae Young himself? When it comes to scoring, believe it or not, this Utah Jazz team, 4th fewest points to the pick and roll, but they give up a ton of points in transition, in isolation, and off screens to shooters and stuff. So Trae Young, this could be a big assist game for him. Utah does allow a ton of assists. Assist line's at 11.5. Utah allow the 6th most assists in the league. They have the worst defensive rating, but interesting enough, Cade Cunningham went under. James Harden went under. Luke has gone under. The Denver guys from Denver killed their assist against them, though. That was when Westbrook, Murray, and Jokic all had 10 assists each. Trae Young, yeah, his assists probably can get around that, but maybe points plus assists. Yeah, I'm not too sure. This Utah Jazz team can be strange. Trae Young has been scoring the ball quite well, and he's more than capable of getting these assists. How about we look at points plus assists, and we look at games without Jalen Johnson? Without Jalen Johnson, hasn't scored very well, and he's hit his assist twice, averaging 13 assists in those games, though. So there's more potential assist opportunities for Trae Young with no Jalen Johnson, but in terms of scoring the points, Jalen Johnson also helps him out that way. So, yeah, 11.5 for Trae. Look, I don't love it. We could get bitch-ass parlay with it and hit Trae Young for a double-double perhaps, but I don't think the odds are going to be great for that. Maybe 20 points, 10 assists. I don't think the odds will be great for that either. Who do we like in this? Who's going to score all these points for Atlanta is what I'm thinking. You got Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Krejci, Riza Shear, Capella, DeAndre Hunter coming off the bench. DeAndre Hunter in awful scoring form as well. So someone could get buckets here. Could it be Dyson Daniels? Not a high-volume shooter. Could the Rook get it done, perhaps? He's probably more capable. He's got a good matchup for him to score. I wonder what the young fella's done without Jalen Johnson. Yeah, he's over this line in 3 out of 4 games without Jalen Johnson in the lineup. His matchup is pretty decent. It's the easiest matchup he's had all. Yeah, it's a very easy matchup for him. So that one we could potentially get around. What's he play? Between 26 and 32 minutes without Jalen Johnson. If we look at games where he plays between 26 and 32 minutes, he's over this line in 7 out of 12, averaging 12.3, but that's exactly what the line is. So that doesn't help us out too much. He's had easy matchups against the Pelicans playing these types of minutes. Didn't shoot very well. It actually went under. Doesn't dime up. Rebounds doesn't necessarily get there either. Points and rebounds, no edge there. So, yeah, this Hawks team, somebody's going to get a lot of buckets here. I just don't know who it's going to be. Or will it just be Trae Young? I think I need you guys to help me out. I think someone like a Bogdanovic, actually. I think the best person for this game against Utah is going to be Bogdanovic. He scores off screens, spot up, and all that type of stuff. But we have to wait until Bogdanovic's line opens up. Even off the bench, he's probably going to be sitting at a 13.5, 14.5, I would imagine. I think Bogdanovic is going to be the best bet in that one for Atlanta. Heat versus the Warriors. Heat culture. Whatever happened to that? Haywood Highsmith, game time decision. The Warriors pretty much have everybody ready to play. Steph Curry, 25.5. He's got a tough matchup to score, but Miami, are they even playing defense these days? Like, they got close with the Kings, I guess, but the Kings, they're not doing too well themselves. So Steph Curry in a difficult matchup there. Assists and rebounds. Lines are quite high for Steph Curry. I ain't betting on that. Dennis Schroeder. I feel like I've missed the opportunities here to take his under. What are Dennis Schroeder games with Steph Curry, though? So he's got under his points line most of the time. Tough matchup for him to score. Under his assist line most of the time. Good matchup for assists. Under his rebounds most of the time. So we could look at a points, rebounds, and assists under here for Dennis Schroeder against the Miami Heat. 22.5. Now, this first game you can see with a 43 PRA. That was when he was in Brooklyn playing against the Warriors. So excluding that game, he's pretty much gone under in every single one except for this game against Philly, where he happened to shoot 59% from the field, got a lot of assists and rebounds from low chances. So I think Dennis Schroeder under his PRA against Miami could be a play here. Lines at 22.5. You'll get this for -110. It's a good hit rate. His matchup to score points is difficult. They do give up points to spot-up shooters, but on this team, I think Schroeder's doing less spot-up shooting. He's probably doing more ball-handling duties, I would assume. So Dennis Schroeder to go under 22.5 PRA. I do not mind that. Not at all. Now, Steph Curry's really going to get all the attention. I get it. But Steph Curry would have got the attention in all of these games. Dennis Schroeder still managed to go under. So he'll play about 30 minutes, which is a little bit risky. But if he just continues to suck, then it's not so bad. It is a home game. In these home games, yeah, he sucked in all these home games anyway. So, yeah, Dennis Schroeder under his PRA. That's something that might get my attention. I want to look at Trace Jackson-Davis here. Because I know the Miami Heat give up a ton of boards, Trace Jackson-Davis not seeing the same minutes that he was before. So in his last two matchups, he saw 21 and 18 minutes. But both of these games were blowouts. A blowout win, then a blowout loss. I wonder what he's projected to play. Let me just check RotoWire real quick. Let's take a look. Trace Jackson-Davis projected to play 25 minutes. So, yeah, pretty much what he was getting around here. Miami do allow the fourth most rebounds. Similar types of players. Bataze, Daron Sharp, Bataze, Plumlee. They cover their rebounds line. These are all the similar positions. So, rebounds for Trace Jackson-Davis. Lines at 7.5. I get it. Let's look at his minutes when he plays at least 23 minutes. Yeah, he's a beast. He's over this line in 6 consecutive games. 6 out of 8 games when he plays at least 23 minutes. He's projected to play 25. So Trace Jackson-Davis over 7.5 I can get with. Odds for it a little bit juiced though. -120 is the best that I can get. You'll probably have this at -130, 140 by the time you're watching this. These are games with Steph Curry. What about without? Oh, without Steph Curry, it's even better. More sample size. 8 consecutive games where he's played at least 23 minutes. He's gone over his rebound line. So Trace Jackson-Davis, I don't mind that. In terms of rebounds allowed to centers, the Miami Heat, 3rd most rebounds allowed to centers over the last 15 games. So I do like that as well. Trace Jackson-Davis over his boards. I think I might run with that. I think that makes a ton of sense. Being conservative with his minutes, even if we go between 23 and 26 minutes, and he's still over in 5 consecutive games. So I don't mind that, 7.5. I could get with that. I do like overs more than unders, so I like this better than the Schroeder play already, but I might play both because unders have a very good hit rate. Looking at Miami, though, Tyler Hero, he's clearly trying. He's got a difficult matchup to score some points, though. The Golden State Warriors, very good at limiting points to pick and roll ball handlers. Assists, though, the Warriors, middle of the league in terms of assists allowed. Hero a little bit inconsistent. What about Scam Adebayo? Scored 18 points against the Kings today. Finally came to life, 6 from 19. Didn't play that well, but he saw volume. He's got a good matchup, size advantage down low to score points. I can't trust Bam. Rebounds, potentially. But yeah, Bam ain't my thing. I'm going to have to pass on that. And then we get into the only game worth watching, I would say. Celtics versus the Nuggets. So talking about Nikola Jokic, I don't know what type of the Nikola Jokic do we see? Do we see that high-scoring Jokic, high-diamond Jokic? In terms of scoring points, Boston probably let him play one-on-one with Kristaps in the post, so that helps in terms of scoring. Very similar to what Wemby was doing. They didn't really double-team Nikola Jokic too much. Scoring zones, Boston. I think everybody knows Boston's a great defense, and they'll let Jokic play one-on-one with Kristaps. If he's only scoring 2-pointers, they know that they're going to take a whole lot of threes. So we could see an aggressive Jokic scoring some points in this game. Out of curiosity, what did he do against Boston last year? He scored some points, 34 and 32 points, 22 and 19 shot attempts in those games. So that's well above his season average. Assists, he managed to get the assists anyway. He didn't have very high potentials. So his assists to potential assists is pretty high, meaning he had some pretty easy looks. This guy almost got a triple-double in both games. Interesting. So Nikola Jokic had only 12 rebounds in those games. His line's at 11.5 today. So this could be a PRA game. He had 55 PRA in both games against Boston last season. Line's at 50.5. He's covered the 50.5 in 6 consecutive games now. Nikola Jokic at home against Boston. Oops, not head-to-head. At home. Whew, he's hit this in 12 out of 16 games. And I think if we look at games without Aaron Gordon, he's hit this in 8 out of 9 games at home. Just look at on the season without Aaron Gordon, he's over this line in 12 out of 14 games, averaging 59.1 PRA. I think this is probably the best way to play Nikola Jokic. We just take his PRA. The games he went under, 27-point blowout loss to the Knicks. He finished with 22 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. And then a 19-point win from Denver over Utah, where he had 30 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. What a terrible game. But yeah, I think Nikola Jokic can just blow this line out of the water. What do you guys think? You going to ride with me here? 50.5 is crazy. Averaging 59.1 on the season without Aaron Gordon. Yeah, why the hell not? I think we do this. What if we do without Aaron Gordon, with Murray, with Porter, Christian Brown doesn't miss a game, with Westbrook, and it is very much the same. 10 out of 12 games, averaging 57. Yeah, I think I'm locking in the over here. I like Nikola Jokic. I like Trace Jackson-Davis. I like Anthony Edwards to make some threes. I'm not going to do the under for Dennis Schroeder as much as I think it happens. I don't want to look into these other guys from Denver. I think Nikola Jokic is going to be our man today. MPJ I'm going to do it anyway. MPJ, he's been scoring really well. Tough matchup here. Boston limit points to spot-up shooters very well. And Michael Porter Jr., tough matchup here. Has had some soft matchups. Detroit, Utah, Atlanta, San Antonio. Last season, I wonder how he went against Boston. Yeah, he went under in both games. So tough matchup. He's got good form, don't get me wrong, but the matchup is difficult as hell. Murray, Westbrook, not interested. See you later. Jason Tatum, my man Tatum, hasn't been scoring the ball very well lately. Denver's not a great defensive team. Jason Tatum's play types, it's not the best matchup for him. So I'll probably pass on that. I don't want to bet on Jason Tatum anyway. Jaylen Brown, in and out of the lineup at the moment. His matchup is okay. I don't know. Boston I find very difficult to bet on. Kristaps, we know I like his rebounds. He's got a tough matchup to score points in the post against Jokic. But these are the guys that have great matchups here. So this Nuggets team, they give up a ton of points to spot up shooters and shooters off screens. So I'm thinking your Derek Whites and your Payton Pritchards probably have a good opportunity to blow up deluxe in this one. Last season, what did Derek White do against Denver? 24 in one game, 7 in the other. So yeah, probably not going to bet any Boston players to score points, if I'm being honest with you guys. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Who's going to get the points from? It's a difficult one. I think one that could get my interest, though, is on one of these guys to get assists, because the Nuggets allow the most assists in the league. Jason Tatum's assist line's at 5.5. He's had a horrible hit rate lately, but he could get the assists. Jaylen Brown assist lines at 4.5. He hasn't been hitting very well. So a lot of the Celtics assist lines are higher because of the matchup. But is there anyone who's consistently diming up? I wonder. Derek White, same thing. He hasn't been hitting this number of 4.5. Drew Holiday, he's inconsistent. So even this, it's like, who is going to dime up today for the Boston Celtics? That I don't know, because this Nuggets team is going to give up a lot of assists. Who's going to do it? Tatum, Brown, Derek White, Pritchard, Drew Holiday. Could it be Al Horford? Shit, I don't know. So I think I'm just going to lock that in. So based on this deep dive and what we've done, the ones that I do like, I'm going to take the risk here on Anthony Edwards to continue his hot streak shooting from 3. We'll go with Anthony Edwards over his 3-pointers made prop. Go with Trace Jackson-Davis to get some boards. And we'll go with Nikola Jokic over 50.5 PRA. No Aaron Gordon. He's got an excellent hit rate. So I'm going to do those 3, plus the other 2 that I gave you. Kristaps over his rebound line. And who was the other one? Mark Williams. How do I forget? That's the one I like the most. Mark Williams over his points prop. So that's 5 bets. 5 bets that we've got down. Hope you guys found some value. Hopefully you like some of the other leans that I've taken you guys through. Let me know in the comment section anyway. So please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's green out, boys. Let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.